Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a generation obsessed with shortcuts. We are told that smart work will get us what hard work never could. But I stand before you today to declare the truth that time has tested, that history has proven, and that destiny requires hard work is better than smart work. You see, smart work is trendy, but hard work is timeless. The world is full of people with brilliant ideas, yet empty hands. Because ideas without effort are like seeds never planted. They rot in the mind and never bear fruit in life. Hard work is more than sweat. It is discipline, diligence, and devotion. It's rising early when no one is watching. It's doing what needs to be done even when no applause is coming. It's preparing in private for what God has prepared in public. Now don't misunderstand me. Intelligence is a gift. Wisdom is power. But they are useless without the fuel of effort. Talent without labor is like a lamp with no oil, beautiful, but it burns out quickly. Hard work builds character. Smart work seeks comfort. But your character is the passport to your future. A lazy genius will always be ruled by a diligent servant, because the world does not reward the smartest, it rewards the most consistent. The soil doesn't care how smart the farmer is. It only responds to the seed, the water, and the work. So today I challenge you, don't just dream, dig. Don't just plan, push. Don't just analyze, act. Because destiny is not decided by the brightest mind, but by the most faithful hand. Hard work will take you where shortcuts cannot. Thank you. In every generation, trends rise and fall like waves. New methods emerge, new tools promise ease, and people chase the next shortcut to success. Work smart, not hard, has become a modern mantra. But what we fail to realize is that what's popular is not always what's powerful. Smart work may be the trend of the hour, but hard work is the truth of truth. Long before there were machines, apps, or algorithms, there was effort, grit, and perseverance. And while strategies may evolve, the principle of hard work remains a constant, unchanged, unmoved, and unmatched. Smart work is often rooted in convenience. It seeks the path of least resistance. It is the art of maximizing output while minimizing input. But in the process, something sacred can be lost, the shaping of the person behind the task. Hard work, on the other hand, is a refining fire. It doesn't just get the job done, it forges discipline, responsibility, and humility in the doer. It builds more than results, it builds people. That's why you'll find that behind every enduring success story, behind every legacy that lasted, was someone who chose the narrow, slow, faithful road of hard work. The danger with smart work alone is that it can create a generation of skilled people who are not strong, capable minds, who are not enduring. They may know how to cut corners, but they lack the muscle to carry weight. When the pressure rises and shortcuts fail, it's hard work that sustains. Why? Because it's timeless. It's the invisible thread that connects ancient kings, modern leaders, and future visionaries. It's not bound by trends or technology. It is rooted in eternal principles of sowing and reaping. A farmer from 2,000 years ago and an entrepreneur today are both bound by this truth. Without the grind, there is no growth. Hard work doesn't need to announce itself, it speaks true results. Smart work often looks impressive in the moment, but hard work builds a foundation that survives the test of time. You can be smart and still fail if you lack the consistency to keep going when it's hard, when it's boring, when no one is watching. That's the power of timelessness. Hard work keeps you steady when motivation dies. Inside its tiny shell. It's not glamorous, it's not always fast, but it is guaranteed to produce fruit for those who persist in it, or a harvest that could feed generations. But potential means nothing until it touches the soil. You can hold a seed in your hand for years, study it, talk about it, dream about what it could become, but unless you put it in the ground and water it, it will never grow. In the same way, ideas are the seeds of greatness. They carry vision, purpose, and power. But without effort, without the labor of faithfulness, those ideas remain locked up, buried not in the earth, but in your mind, your heart. We live in a world overflowing with ideas. Social media, books, podcasts, and conversations are full of people sharing thoughts, strategies, and dreams. But talk is cheap. Vision without work is an illusion. There's a difference between inspiration and manifestation. Many have brilliant ideas, but few have the courage and discipline to work them through the dirt of process. That's where effort comes in. Effort is the shovel. Effort is the water. Effort is the sun that pulls what was hidden into what can be seen. Without it, even the most divine dream remains unrealized. God never called us to be just thinkers. He called us to be doers. The garden doesn't respond to what the farmer knows, it responds to what he does. You can have the most innovative idea, the perfect plan, the clearest strategy, but until you rise early, get your hands dirty and endure the seasons, it will never become fruit. And this is the tragedy of so many lives. Not that they lack brilliance, but that they lack the obedience to labor. A planted seed demands faith. Because once it's buried, it disappears for a time. There are no instant results, no immediate applause. But that's where real effort lives in the silent, unseen, faithful commitment to what no one else believes in yet. To show up every day, not because you feel like it, but because you know that buried potential becomes fruitful purpose only through effort. So ideas, no matter how divine, without effort, are simply seeds left to rot in the shadows of procrastination. Hard work is more than just action, it's alignment. It's not just movement, it's direction. Many people are busy, but they are not building. They're active, but not advancing. That's why hard work demands discipline. Discipline is the internal governor that keeps you steady when emotions fail. It's waking up early when the bed whispers comfort. It's saying no to distractions, not because they're wrong, but because they're not worthy of your purpose. Discipline is the bridge between your desire and your destiny. Without it, your potential becomes a prisoner of your moods. Then comes diligence. Discipline may start the engine, but diligence keeps it running. Diligence is the persistent pursuit of excellence, even in the smallest of tasks. It's not just working hard once, it's working hard again and again and again. It's sweeping the floor with the same care you'd give to signing $1 million deal. Diligence is attention to detail, consistency in character, and commitment to quality. It's doing your best when no one is watching, because you're not working for applause, you're working from assignment. But discipline and diligence alone are not enough. There must be devotion. Devotion gives your work meaning. It's not just about what you're doing, it's about why you're doing it. Devotion is when your work becomes an act of worship. It's when showing up isn't about reputation, it's about responsibility. It's about knowing that your labor is connected to something eternal. Devotion makes you dependable. It adds passion to your process. It's what transforms a job into a calling and a task into a testimony. When these three come together, discipline to focus, diligence to endure, and devotion to believe hard work becomes a holy thing. It's no longer about striving for success, it becomes about being faithful with what's in your hands. This kind of work doesn't just change your situation, it transforms your soul. Because in the process of working, you are also being worked on. Private preparation is where greatness is formed, not announced. And if you skip that process, the weight of public recognition will crush what private foundations did not build. Look at any person of impact and you will see someone who was trained in silence. The prophet was shaped in the wilderness before he ever spoke to kings. The leader was forged in the backside of the desert before nations knew his name. Why? Because visibility without maturity is dangerous. Gifting might get you there, but only preparation will keep you there. What you're doing in the dark is either preparing you to stand in the light or exposing that you're not ready for it. Preparation in private is about more than practice, it's about purification. It's where your motives are checked, your ego is broken, and your endurance is built. No cameras, no applause, just you and the weight of your calling. And it's in that place where no one is looking that you begin to understand that purpose isn't about performance, it's about faithfulness. You don't prepare in private to impress people in public. You prepare in private because you respect the assignment too much to mishandle it when it comes. Promotion without preparation leads to pride. But when you've been prepared in secret, you carry your promotion with humility because you know where you came from. You remember the nights of obscurity, the tears nobody saw, the small victories that nobody clapped for. And when the moment finally comes and people start to notice, you don't lose your head because your heart was anchored long before the world was watching. That's the kind of person who doesn't just rise, they remain. Let's go, Aisha. This one carries a deep truth. Here's a full expansion of intelligence without effort is powerless in 4 fire-filled, soul-stirring paragraphs delivered with that weighty authority and clarity of purpose. Intelligence without effort is powerless. Wisdom, knowledge, brilliance, these are incredible gifts. But let us be clear, intelligence is not enough. You can have the mind of a genius and still live a life of mediocrity if you refuse to put in the work. Intelligence might open a door, but only effort will keep you in the room. The mind may conceive the vision, but it's the hands, the labor, the grind that brings it to life. A sharp mind with lazy hands is like a sword never drawn in battle, impressive but irrelevant. Our generation celebrates intellect. Degrees, strategies, hacks. But let's tell the truth, intelligence is potential, not power. The real power is in the application. What you know means nothing if you refuse to move. You can have all the answers and still fail the test, not because you were incapable, but because you were unwilling. History doesn't remember the smartest, it remembers the doers. It remembers those who were willing to sweat, sacrifice, and show up. Effort gives intelligence authority. Without it, brilliance becomes an echo in an empty room, loud but without impact. Effort is what gives your mind legs to walk. It's what gives your ideas wings to fly. There are too many people sitting on gold mines of knowledge, trapped in cycles of inaction. They can explain success, but have never tasted it. Because in the end, it is not how much you know, but how much you work with what you know that determines the harvest. And let's not forget this, intelligence without effort often leads to arrogance. Because when you think you're too smart to labor, you rob yourself of growth. There's something sacred in struggle. Something holy in hard work. It humbles the intellect and sanctifies the gift. Wisest people aren't those who just think deep thoughts. They're the ones who put their hands to the plow and don't look back. Because they understand it's not brilliance that builds the kingdom, it's obedience. Let me know if you want the next one. Expanded hard work builds unshakable character. This is starting to feel like a full-blown life-changing series. Character is not formed in comfort. It's forged in the fire of consistent effort. Hard work isn't just about getting results, it's about becoming someone. Every time you choose to push forward, instead of give up, something is being built inside of you that no one can take away. In a world that rewards appearances, hard work quietly develops the integrity to sustain what success might bring. It doesn't just train your body or sharpen your skill, it matures your soul. The truth is, talent can make you popular, but only character will make you permanent. And character doesn't come from ease. It comes from repetition, from responsibility, from the slow, steady grind of doing the right thing when it would be easier not to. Hard work trains you to show up even when you don't feel like it. And in doing that, it chisels away pride, laziness, and entitlement to what's left is someone solid, rooted, and real. Every act of diligence is a quiet confrontation with weakness. Hard work forces you to deal with your excuses, to face your flaws, and to grow through your limits. You become more than a worker, you become trustworthy, dependable, grounded. You start to value things that can't be measured by money or likes, commitment, excellence, patience. That's character. And once it's built, storms can come, pressure can rise, but you won't fold. Because your foundation wasn't built on hype, it was built on habits. The danger of a life without hard work is not just failure, it's fragility. You can rise fast and fall faster if you never built the strength to carry what you're chasing. But when you've been through the process, when you've been refined by the discipline of work, your yes means something. Your word carries weight, your presence carries peace. Not because you're perfect, but because you've paid the price to become real. And in a world full of image, that's power. Let's go, Asher. That one hits deep. Consistency is more powerful than cleverness. Cleverness might impress people for a moment, but consistency transforms things over time. Here's a rich 4-paragraph expansion in that same fire-tested, purpose-heavy tone. Consistency is more powerful than cleverness. Cleverness can get you attention, but only consistency will earn you trust. Clever people know how to say the right thing, do the flashy thing, create the illusion of progress. But real impact doesn't come from what you do once, it comes from what you're willing to do over and over. Even when it's unseen, uncelebrated, and unglamorous. Success isn't found in the highlight reel, it's built in the rehearsal room. And consistency is the rehearsal of greatness. The problem with cleverness is that it often rumors on moments, quick sparks of brilliance, one-time win, surface-level solutions. But life doesn't reward moments, it rewards momentum. And momentum only comes through repetition, through showing up, through digging when the soil is dry, praying when heaven feels silent, grinding when the world's not clapping. That's what separates the temporary from the timeless. Not who had the best idea, but who refused to quit. God doesn't anoint laziness, dress in intelligence. He honors the worker who shows up again and again because he understands the power of faithfulness. Cleverness without consistency is like lightning. It flashes bright but disappears quickly. But consistency is like the sun. It rises every day. It doesn't need applause to shine. It doesn't need a stage to be effective. And because of that, it builds something no clever trick ever could, legacy. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't have to be the most gifted. But if you're consistent, if you refuse to let emotion dictate your effort, if you commit to becoming better one day at a time, you will outlast, outgrow, and outrun the clever ones who only knew how to sprint. Because life is not a sprint. It's a marathon. And it's not the quickest thinker who wins. It's the one who keeps showing up when the crowd is gone and the strength is low. You can be full of ideas, dripping with talent, oozing with gifting, but if none of it becomes action, execution, or outcome, the world will pass you by. Why? Because the world does not pay for possibilities, it pays for proof. You're not valued for what you could do, you're rewarded for what you actually did. Potential is a promise, results are the fulfillment, and until you deliver, all you have is theory. Many people are praised for their promise, but they perish in the gap between inspiration and implementation. They fall in love with being admired for what they might become instead of pushing through the work to become it. But listen closely, being gifted is not a guarantee of greatness. The graveyard is full of unused potential, songs never written, books never published, businesses never built, callings never answered. Because the difference between legacy and regret is not what you had in you, it's what you were willing to bring out of you. Results require movement. You can have all the oil and in here and still be empty-handed if you don't move your feet. That's why hard work is so crucial. It turns potential into product. It makes the invisible visible. People don't build statues for those who dreamed. They build them for those who delivered. The world doesn't reward what you're meant to do. It rewards what you finish. That's reality. Not to crush hope, but to awaken purpose. And here's the truth. Potential is only respected when it's backed by proof. You want influence? Produce something. You want opportunity? Solve something. You want impact? Deliver something. The world will open doors for the one who can turn potential into performance. Not perfectly. Not instantly. But consistently. But at the end of the day, it's not about how much was in you, it's about how much you were willing to give birth to. As we close, remember this, your dreams are not just meant to be admired, they are meant to be realized. Your potential is not something to be talked about. It is something to be unleashed. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is created by those who work relentlessly, consistently, and with purpose. The world rewards results, not potential. It rewards those who do, those who are willing to press forward even when the road is tough, when the vision seems distant, when the applause is silent. So rise, work in the shadows, knowing that your time in the light will come. Be diligent, be disciplined, and above all, be devoted to the process. Because at the end of the day, it's not how clever you are, it's how much you're willing to sacrifice, how much effort you put into what matters most. Your results will speak louder than your words, your efforts will outlast your excuses, and your character will carry you further than your talent ever could. Trust the process, trust your work. Trust that your destiny is waiting for you on the other side of consistent effort. The world is waiting for you to show up and deliver, so do it and never stop.